On September 15th, 1890 in Sunnyvale, Jamaica, I became the youngest child of Thomas Francis McKay and Hannah Ann Elizabeth Edwards. They were farmers with just enough property to qualify to vote. Myself, along with my 6 other siblings, were raised in that family, and our ancestry was traced back to the Ashanti, as well as to Madagascar. We were often taught the Ashanti customs in our home, which was near a stone's throw away from where someone I hear is saying that people are eating cats and dogs. And just another stone's throw away from where an entire island has been suffocated and starved to the brink of death for fear of the color red. I left for the US in 1912 to attend Tuskegee Institute and was shocked by the intense racism I encountered as I arrived in Charleston, South Carolina. At Tuskegee, I disliked the semi-military machine-like existence. And despite my academic acumen, I quickly left. I fled to Kansas State Agricultural College to get my hands in the dirt. And while I was there, I read W.E.B. Du Bois' Souls of Black Folk, which had a major impact on my political development. I then moved to New York City and married my sweetheart. Lately, had a boy child that I honestly never saw. She saw fit to return to Jamaica, and I felt that I needed to plant my roots here. Strange choices we make in our youth. In 1919, I met Crystal and Max Eastman and began publishing with them the Liberator magazine. I was co-executive editor for 2 years. And it was in that magazine where I published my most well-known work, If We Must Die. There are so many scenarios and so many instances where we are pressed to the brink of death. But if we must die, we do have a choice. I began to make different choices and understand collectivity in a different kind of way. I joined the Industrial Workers of the World, the only leftist group that actually allowed full Black membership and participation. I even got involved with some Black radicals who were a little bit fed up with Garvey's nationalism and the middle class respectability politics of the NAACP. We recognized that it seemed our boys and girls were taught in Negro schools that they were just like other Americans and grew up semi-educated fools. And right for spurious words of charlatans. The millionaire from Boston likes to write. His letters scintillate the daily news. He wrote a left-ish paper to indict my thoughts of Negroes and oppose my views. He has a Negro friend and thinks, therefore, himself authority on the Negro race, and whites and Blacks who disagree are poor, damn fools who know their soul, not from their face. Meanwhile, the ghoulish landlords' rents inflate to save them from the inevitable slump, for banks down Negroes' homes to lowest rates, and soon the street becomes a Negro dump. Oh, segregation, Negro leaders bawl, and white liberals join them at the Wailing Wall. See, I thought beyond that and fought for Black self-determination, but not within the construct of the capital that exploited us, but rather a socialist revolution, co-founding the African Black Brotherhood. See, communists didn't come snatch my people from Africa. They didn't work them to death for generations. They didn't kill Emmett Till. They didn't burn down Tulsa. They did help organize sharecroppers after the Civil War. They did support multiracial labor organizing after the Great Migration. And they did play a huge role in liberation struggles all across Africa with resounding effect. Du Bois himself, later Fred Hampton, Huey Newton, Ella Baker, Richard Wright, Stokely Carmichael, Philip Randolph, Paul Robeson, James Baldwin, Angela Davis. We know these names. We lionize their iconography, but have no interest in the principles that guided their actions. The Black liberation struggle has included communists, socialists since the Reconstruction era up to this day. And the clarion call for democratic control of the profits of labor is not racialized in the slightest, nor is basic housing and healthcare. However, I am a Black man. I traveled to the Soviet Union, and I saw firsthand that I was only able to see what I was shown. Idealism is a castle in the air, if not based on the solid foundation of social and political realism. The war always comes home. They call it the imperial boomerang. But if we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and pinned in an inglorious spot. While round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain, that even monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us though dead. If we must die, let it not be in internet diaspora wars. For African descendants of slavery and Black foundational Americans share our same story and lineage. Only 1/5 of those who arrived on these shores in chains arrived in the United States. The other 4/5 scattered across the Americas. And this was not a one-way trip. It was plenty folks getting sent down to Jamaica from Georgia, from South Carolina, from Mississippi. Maybe they'd make it back. Maybe they wouldn't. Tariq Nasheed out here crowdsourcing his vacation to Ghana, talking about nonsense in between bites of jollof rice. My advice, untether yourselves. Maybe read some Walter Rodney, because what did the transatlantic slave trade do to Africa? Well, they lost 1/5 of their entire population of the continent, disrupted all of their trade, their economies. It platformed warlords instead of craftsmen. We could no longer trade in the goods we were forced to trade in our own. O kinsmen, we must meet this common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show us brave. And for their 1,000 blows, deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men, we'll face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying, but fighting back. For human dignity is more precious than prestige. See, we are like trees, and we're all colors naturally.